Cowabunga dudes and dudettes, this is Anthony, aka Batbomb82, and today I'll be doing my 159th Mezco Toyz 112 Collective action figure review, this time being of the Deluxe Wolverine Steel Box Edition. Taking a look at the front, we can see that this figure comes in a tin-like box with some really great artwork of Wolverine both on the front and the back. So with the box out of the way, let's go ahead and crack this figure open and let him breathe. Alright guys, now let's take a closer look at this new Deluxe Wolverine. Holy crap, he's finally here. I think it's so dope that Mezco is going back and really updating and upgrading a lot of those older Mezco figures that I personally love, but some of those definitely needed an upgrade. This also gives people a chance to own that kind of hard to find, a little expensive Tiger Stripe Wolverine that we received in the past. So this one, again, definite upgrade in a lot of ways, and I think that's super cool. So first thing I like is, this is how he's pretty much going to come out of the box with that head and with that belt. And just like this, I think he already looks pretty damn awesome. I love the classic head sculpt. I think it looks really, really good. The yellowing of the suit looks really nice as well. The different tones of blue. I absolutely love things like the detailing on the shoulder pad here. You get the little lining and the little rivets and things like that. You even got the hair on the muscles because, you know, Wolverine's a pretty hairy dude. I think that looks really great as well. His arms, his gloves, all look really nice. You can see all the folds in there looking like actual like leather or something. Even all the little studs and all that are all painted silver, especially where he pops his claws out. That's really nice too. The black belt looks really good with that X logo. A little more modern look, which I think is cool. You got some pouches in there and things like that. I love the fact that we're getting actual trunks this time around, which is really nice, and I'll show comparisons a little later. But the boots look really killer, man. I just love how that turned out. Those look so nice. The blue that they chose for this looks really good in my opinion. So I love that. And you got tread on the feet, looking really good too. They almost look like tiger stripes on the bottom of the feet as well. So I think that's pretty interesting. But yeah, man, this looks so good. Such a great looking figure. Again, that more classic head sculpt just rocks in my opinion. So yeah, man, this is awesome. This is something I know a lot of us have been waiting for. I think it's just super cool that they even gave this to us, excuse me. But my God, there is so much still to talk about this figure. So moving on to accessories, now we do get the circular base stand, which we get with all the Mezco figures, and it's pretty much the exact same thing we've seen in the past with the previous Wolverine figures, just the X-Men logo. I kind of wish this was an opportunity to, you know, give us something different on here. You know, it's pretty much exactly the same as the previous releases. I think it would have been cool to put some like Wolverine artwork on here or something. Again, just something different, maybe some claw strikes or something. I don't know. That's just me. This is me totally nitpicking right now, but I still love the stand, and if this works for you, it totally works. And then, of course, we do get the clear articulated arm. We also do get a ton of different interchangeable hands, so he does come packed with closed-fisted hands right there. We also do get more open palm hands and things like that, a little more tighter, loose fingered hands like so. We even get a finger pointing hand like that, but of course, we do get the actual clawed hands, so we can actually pop these off. They're just on those standard Mezco pegs, and pop these on like that. Oh, if I can actually do it right there. Oh, it's a little tight, but there we go. That actually works out really, really nice. We also do get, let me pull this one off. We actually get more open palm clawed hands. So you can see the ones with the fist and then the ones with the more open hands. And that's looking really, really cool. But it's also awesome. We get freaking bone claw hands with this dude. That's pretty cool that they even included that. That's a really cool addition. At this point, he just pretty much needs the heat claws, and then we're pretty much have like everything we need for a Wolverine, right? So that's really, really cool. Which reminds me, I kind of hope we get like an astonishing Wolverine and things like that. I think that'd be really, really awesome. So I love all of that. Next, we do get an interchangeable belt, which I think is pretty unique. So this just unpegs on the side like that, so we can pull this off right there. And you can see what he looks like without his belt. Kind of looks like he's just rocking his underwear without the belt, right? But of course, we do get a more old school red belt, and this is the way to go, right? Come on. I mean, the red belt just looks iconic in my opinion. And this will just peg on there like that. If I can actually get that, really tricky to do with my big fat fingers on camera. Let me see. Come on, just apply a little bit of pressure on there. Make sure it's nice and secure. This might pop off on my butt, but there you go. You do get the red belt, which I think looks really, really good. But we also get interchangeable belt buckles, because why not, right? Mezco decided, you know what, let's give them interchangeable belt buckles. So you can have the standard belt buckle or the more classic X logo, which, ooh man, that might be the one I go with, because I don't know, that just works for me for some reason. So I love that a ton. So now moving on to the 8 interchangeable head sculpts, and yeah, I said 8 interchangeable head sculpts. That was a big selling factor for me, just the fact that we get so many head options, and for me that really makes a big difference. That I love that they even did that. So I'm gonna pop this head off right here. We do get 2 unmasked Logan-like heads, which I think are great. Different hairstyles, and you can see a little bit of different facial expressions. But you can see this one's a little more tattered, and the hair's a little more flared out. His bangs are coming down, whereas this one's a little more clean. So I think this is really, really cool. But with those, we actually got a downed cowl that you can put on. So you can just slide this over the neck like that, and then pop on one of the unmasked head sculpts. So that way he just looks like he has his mask pulled back, which I think is genius. Again, man, dude, Mezco kills it with stuff like this, especially accessories and things like that, man. I don't know. I think, is that just me? But I absolutely love how they did that. Now we're gonna bring in that more old school head, which I think is great. We do got 2 versions of that as well. One with a more straightforward face, and then more with the gritting teeth. And I've always been a big fan of this cowl. I know not everyone loves it. I totally get it. You prefer the more modern one with the bigger earpieces, you know, I do too, but I have a special place in my heart for this. I actually bought 2 of these Wolverines so I can display one with the older cowl, so that's just me. But again, both of these again turned out really cool. Even has like little, I don't know what you want to call those, whiskers, but I still think this looks super dope. But of course, the head sculpt that everyone is most likely going to want is the more modern head with a bigger cowl like that, more flared out, which I think just looks insane, man. And honestly, in my opinion, this might be one of the best Wolverine head sculpts that we've ever gotten. I've just ever seen, especially at this scale. But it just looks perfect. The eyes look great, the mouth, the cowl itself looks awesome. I love how the ears are very nice and wide. Even the sculpt on that looks really, really good. See how they come up? I even like the little point that they come up to on the side right here. I think this is just a fantastic head sculpt. Come on, man. That's the one where everybody wants, right? With that head, the red belt with the X logo, the claws popped out. That's a very dope tiger stripe Wolverine, man. Oh my god, that's so good. But like the others, we also do get options with this. We get another one with the more gritting teeth, which I think looks really cool as well. We get another one with the yelling head. This is great for action poses and things like that. So I think that one turned out awesome as well. And again, Mezco's gotten a lot better with the teeth. The teeth were a little bit of an issue back in the day, but they've gotten a lot better over time. But probably one of my favorite head sculpts is going to be this crazy battle damaged head. Look at that, dude. That is insane. First of all, he's totally smiling. He's just very happy with himself with all the chaos that's just ensued. You can see partially the chunk of this cowl is completely like missing. You can see he's kind of like scratched up and bleeding. You can see kind of hair popping out of the cowl, as well as his adamantium skull peeking through the mask. I mean, dude, that is so sick. I love that so freaking much. I mean, they absolutely nailed it with all of these head sculpts. Next up, I'm going to show off a lot of the effect pieces that we get here, because we got a ton with this set, which I think is really cool because, man, they went all out with these, and Mezco does really good effect pieces. So you got these more like razored edged swinging claw effects pieces. We got all different kinds of them. We got this one right here that's a little more longer with a longer swoosh, which I think is really cool too. We got a more thicker, shorter one that's a little more straightforward. We have this one right here, which I think is really good because it almost has like this big spark or burst like that as well. These almost look like big Wolverine claws, so that's crazy. But easily the best one is going to be the giant X right here. And whenever I see anything like this, totally reminds me of the cartoon, right? Just making that big X slashing effects, which looks really nice. And these can kind of be a little tricky. You see little holes here in the different areas. That's to slide them through the claws. And you're gonna have to figure this out, what you want to do, how to pose them and things like that. When you're, you know, for all you photographers, it's a little tricky to get all this stuff lined on, but they'll hold on there when you pose them right. Again, it's a little tricky, but they all have little holes, and you just kind of find the right spot, the right groove, and get them in there like so, and then you can get some really good slash effect pieces. I mean, come on, dude. How badass is that? Damn it, Mezco, that is so dope. I love this so much. Oh my god. Yeah, this just works for me. So now the next accessory that we are going to get here, and the final accessory, is this big beefy chonky boy right here. We get a pretty much a diorama stand, base stand of a really jacked up Sentinel, which I think looks crazy good. This thing definitely has some decent weight to it, but I love the sculpt here is just crazy good. How you can see all the scratches and cuts from Wolverine's claws. I mean, the wash throughout this whole thing is really nice, really dirty. You can see bits of silver in there to make like some of maybe the paint is rubbing off, but I love like his almost like spinal cord and innards are kind of coming out right there. The hand looks really awesome as well. I mean, they went all out on the detail of this Sentinel stand. You can see like the hoses and things like that. The head sculpt looks great as well. I mean, crazy good, dude. I am so impressed with this. This is again, another big selling factor for me. I wouldn't mind having like several of these, to be honest with you. But again, I did buy a second set, so I definitely got two. But I mean, look at the gashing right there on across the head. That looks so good. I mean, this, I don't know, looks maybe Cyclops just blasted his face off right here, and you can see that burn marks coming off, a big dent on the head. I mean, damn, dude, that is so freaking awesome. What a killer piece. So with this stand here, this whole base, we do get options. You can actually take this eyeball out like so, and you can have Wolverine like hold it or slide his claws through. There are little holes in here, so you can have that like dangling. I think that's a really cool option. We also do, it does come with 3 AAA batteries. So you just unscrew that and turn the little switch on. I already have it on right here. So that doesn't mean any lights go on. It's just to kind of like save power, I guess, I don't know. But this little red piece right here, little button, that's how you're going to activate the lights. And you can kind of see how it's flickering right there. Little LEDs in both eyes. This one's kind of lighting up a little more. Even through the chest right here, you can kind of see a little pulsating white light coming through the chest. And if you turn off some lights, it looks incredible. Those lights really look really cool. And again, I absolutely love the pulsating white light in there. That is awesome, man. So if you want to display him like that with the lights on, I think that just, damn, again, that works for me, man. They really went all out with this. So what I'm gonna do now here, I'm gonna take that standard circular base here, and in case people ever wanted to know, what I do is I take the arm here, the bottom piece that connects, and I go from the bottom here and I push this little peg out like that. That's how I normally take these off. It works out really, really good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that little peg and I'm bringing back the Sentinel base here, because what we have here, you got all kinds of different ports throughout the piece to peg in this little part right there, so you can actually peg in the feet of Wolverine, so you get multiple options to port him onto this base here, which I think is great, really helps with the sturdiness of this. And then you can bring the figure in here like that, and then peg him on right there. Let me see if I can do that. Like that. I mean, you'd have to pose him around a little bit, but you get what I'm saying. I think that works out great, man. Again, I love the fact that they even did that to put him in different display options. Again, the options with this figure are freaking endless, and I love it. Okay, so now what I wanted to do, I'm going to bring in this guy right here, because this is the first Tiger Stripe Wolverine that we got from Mezco, and this guy was an exclusive. I don't remember if it was to a con or just to the Mezco site. I really don't remember, but he went for pretty high prices at some point, and he's a little harder to get. So this is the more modern, updated and upgraded version of this figure right here, and you can really see the differences. The cowls look completely different, a completely new head sculpt. And again, I like how the black earpieces flare out more on this newer one, where these ones on the older one are a little just more pulled back. But you can see the different shades of blue that's used here. The shoulder pads are completely different. The arms, the gloves, are completely different as well. New belts. Again, this is what I was talking about. Look at the trunks here. I'm glad we actually got actual trunks, where this one was just more like a printed on vinyl on the actual suit material. So I do prefer this look, absolutely. And the boots look great as well on both. These ones definitely have a more modern take, where these ones look a little more traditional. Now, not much, but still a little more traditional, a little bit of a look. The claws look different as well. I love these right here. They're a little more flared out, where these are a little more straightforward. And I'm saying it right now, man. I think Mezco makes the best Wolverine claws out there. Is that just me? I think they make the best Wolverine claws for an action figure ever. No matter what company, scale, I don't care. I think Mezco has done them the best right there. But I also do like the lining on the suit right here. This one's a little more simple as far as like the suit itself goes, where this one had a lot of that lining throughout that. And again, had a little more simplified side over here. The stripes are a little bit different on here. You can see there's a little more chunky, and these are a little more clean and pointed, which I probably do prefer. But yeah, man, this is just these side by side. And what I wanted to do as well, I think a lot of people are going to ask, can you switch heads on these figures? Now, if you look, the ball pegs, the newer one, are a little bit smaller than that older one, which means trying to pop on any of these newer heads on this one can kind of work. They're fairly tight. You could probably get them on there if you want a little bit, but it's just really, really tight. So I don't know, if you wanted to try that just for some pictures, it can probably work, but he does look a little long in the neck. Again, you probably could push it down a little more, but it's just, I don't recommend it, honestly. So let me try to put on the more old school head like that. Yeah, see, it doesn't quite go on all the way, but I mean, for certain poses, you could probably make it work if you wanted to do so. And then let me bring in the unmasked head as well. Yeah, they're pretty tight. But again, that doesn't look terrible. Again, you can make it work if you put posing with certain angles and things like that. You can do it. Again, it just doesn't work as well as I would like. Or I mean, if you want to even take this head and pop it on here, you could feel it. It's like, it's pretty loose. And you can see how far down it goes, down the neck. Like, it's all the way down there because this is a smaller peg. So let me put those back on there like that. You go. There you go. So there are those two in detailed side by side. Now moving on to the articulation here, the head and the neck are on ball pegs, so you can roll that around very, very nicely. Does turn left and right, up that far, which is pretty good, and down that much, where he can bury his chin in his chest very, very well, and then rock side to side. These shoulder pads are on a separate little ring, kind of in the cup around the shoulder ball peg that goes into the chest. So these are a separate piece, and you can see they kind of hinge a little bit, so they will not hinder articulation whatsoever. So you can get the arms all the way out like that. And when you rotate the arm, that will rotate with the arm as well. So that works out really nicely. We get rotation at the bicep. We got double jointed elbows that bend a little bit past 90, but because Wolverine is so jacked, you know, you can only bend so much with all that muscle on there. So that works out really good as well. Rotation at the wrist, as well as a hinge at the wrist. We get a double ball peg in the midsection, so you get a lot of good motion there. Does turn left and right, crunches back and forth, and pivot side to side. Hip joints that kick forward that far, back about that much. We can do the splits out very far, very nicely. Rotation in that upper thigh, double jointed knees. Nothing at the boot, but the ankles are on ball pegs, so those roll around, rotate up and down, and a pretty decent ankle rocker. So overall, I freaking love this figure. I think probably one of my few complaints is that I kind of wish there was a little more Mezco-fication in the suit. That's just me. I know a lot of you will prefer the more traditional type of look. I get it. I totally understand, but that's just me. I kind of like the more twist of like taking those classic looks and giving it a little more modern look to them. But this still looks fantastic, man. I do wish we could have used those heads on the older Wolverines. I think that would have been awesome. Sadly, we can't really do that all that well, but still, everything that we get with this guy is crazy. From all the heads, hands, effect pieces, that Sentinel base is just mind-blowing. And if you want the ultimate Wolverine figure, the one from Mezco is the one to definitely get. So for a quick size comparison, here he is standing next to a Marvel Legends Deadpool and Mafex Batman figure. Also for comparison, here he is standing next to all the other Mezco 112 Collective Wolverine figures. And for even more Mezco fun, here are his buddies in the Mezco Deadpool and Cyclops. And just for fun, here he is with little Lego Bat Bomb. So there it is, guys, my review of the new Mezco 112 Collective Deluxe Wolverine. And man, this might be one of the best Wolverine figures out there because you really are getting a lot for your money. We get 8 interchangeable heads, we get Logan heads, we get vintage heads, we get modern heads, we get battle damage heads. I mean, that's crazy. All the interchangeable hands with the different claws. We get the bone claws, which I think is really cool. And all those really awesome effect pieces, man. I think Mezco did such an amazing job with this. You get a ton of options. We got interchangeable belts. I think that's really cool with interchangeable buckles. I mean, who does that? But that Sentinel base stand is crazy good. The fact that it has LED light up features, you can even peg the little peg from the circular base stand into it to hold up your Wolverine figure even better. I mean, that thing is so beautifully sculpted and detailed. I mean, that is one cool diorama piece. I think they just absolutely killed it. I love that Mezco is going back and redoing and upgrading some of their older figures. And this Wolverine has me enthusiastic about the updated Superman, the updated Spider-Man, which makes me want an updated Captain America, an updated Deadpool, and so many other figures. This piece is definitely a work of art, and if you love your Wolverine, I think you will absolutely love this figure. So be excellent to each other, and stay nerdy, my friends. Peace.